February 1959. The northern Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia. A place so cold, even sound seems to freeze in the air. 9 experienced hikers set out on an ambitious winter expedition. They were young, skilled, and confident. Their leader was 23-year-old engineering student Igor Dyalov. The goal was simple: reach a Torton Mountain and return with certification for advanced hiking status. They never came back. When the group failed to return on time, search teams were sent. Days passed, then weeks. Finally, on February 26th, rescuers found the tent. But something was terribly wrong. The tent had been sliced open from the inside. Their belongings were still there: boots, coats, supplies, money untouched. But the hikers had fled into the freezing night, some of them barefoot, in temperatures below -25 degrees Celsius. Why would trained hikers abandon shelter like that? The first 2 bodies were found near a forest edge under a cedar tree, wearing only their underwear. Their hands were burned, as if they had tried to climb the tree or build a fire. Then 3 more bodies were discovered between the tree and the tent, including Dyatlov himself. It looked as though they had attempted to return to the tent, but collapsed in the snow. The official cause of death for these 5: hypothermia. But the remaining 4 hikers were not found until 2 months later, buried under feet of snow in a ravine. And their injuries were not consistent with freezing to death. One woman, Ludmila Dubinina, was missing her tongue and her eyes. Another victim had massive chest trauma comparable to a car crash. But there were no external wounds, no broken skin, just crushing internal damage. One skull was fractured with extreme force. Doctors at the time said the injuries required a force beyond normal human strength. There were no signs of a fight. No evidence of other footprints in the area. It's just the 9 hikers' tracks leading away from the tent, calmly, not running, as if they left voluntarily. Then came another disturbing discovery. Some of their clothing tested positive for radiation. Not lethal levels, but measurable. In 1959 Soviet Russia, that detail raised dangerous questions. The investigation was abruptly and inexplicably closed. The official conclusion: the hikers died due to a compelling natural force. No explanation of what that force was. The case files were stamped top secret and buried in Soviet archives for decades. Rumors exploded. Some believed it was an avalanche. But the slope where the tent was pitched was too mild. There was no massive snow displacement. Others suggested infrasound low-frequency wind vibrations causing panic. But that doesn't explain radiation, or crushed rib cages, or the missing tongue. Then came the military theories. Secret weapons testing, parachute mines, experimental explosions. Witnesses in nearby areas reported strange orange lights in the sky around that time. Were they UFOs or classified Soviet experiments? Some locals from the indigenous Mansi tribe were initially suspected, but there were no signs of a struggle, and the Mansi people had no motive. Over the decades, researchers revisited the case again and again. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the investigation. In 2020, they concluded it was an avalanche combined with poor visibility. Case closed. Again, but many independent investigators disagree. The pattern of injuries, the radiation, the tongue, the secrecy, the classified documents. Even the diaries recovered from the hikers suggest nothing unusual before that night. They were laughing, taking photos, enjoying the journey. So what happened between sunset and their final footprints in the snow? Imagine this. You are inside the tent. The wind is howling. The darkness is absolute. Then something happens. A sound, a shockwave, a light panic spreads. You cut the tent open to escape quickly. You run into the forest. But why not grab your boots? Why not return once the danger passes? Why do some suffer crushing injuries that resemble blast trauma? And the most chilling question of all, Why did the might of the Soviet government move so swiftly to seal the files and silence all inquiry? Perhaps it was a tragic natural disaster. Perhaps fear amplified simple facts into myth. Or perhaps, in the frozen silence of the Ural Mountains, something occurred that was never meant to be explained publicly. Today, a memorial stands in their honor, but the mountain has a darker name in the local Mansi language, Kholat Syakhl. It means Mountain of the Dead, and more than 60 years later, it has kept its secret.